Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, invisible divide. On one side, there is the world you were raised in, the world of schedules, paychecks, and the relentless exchange of your life force for a number on a screen. On the other side is a reality that most people only see in movies, a world where money behaves like a living organism, growing and multiplying while its owners sleep. The tragedy of modern life is that most people are born into the first world and are given a map that intentionally leads them away from the second. Today, we are going to dismantle that map. We are going to look at the mental game of money that the poor and middle class fundamentally misunderstand, and we are going to explore why the very advice your parents gave you, the advice born out of love and a desire for your safety, is the anchor keeping you from ever being free. We have to start with the uncomfortable truth that there are two entirely different systems of financial knowledge operating on this planet. There is the public knowledge taught to the masses: be grateful, work hard, save your pennies, and trust the system. Then there is the private knowledge passed down within wealthy dynasties. Knowledge about information asymmetry, the manipulation of power, and the mechanics of systemic leverage. These two worlds are so far apart they might as well be governed by different laws of physics. If you were never wealthy, you were likely raised with poverty thinking disguised as wisdom. You were told that money doesn't grow on trees, which sounds like a practical lesson in frugality, but is actually a psychological brand that scars you with the belief that capital is scarce, finite, and agonizingly difficult to obtain. This belief forces you into a state of financial timidity. You hold on to what you have with white knuckles, terrified to let go, which is the exact opposite of how wealth is actually built. Then there is the moral programming. Many of us grew up in environments where wealth and morality were presented as opposing forces. You were told that it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven, or that money is the root of all evil. Whether these messages were religious or social, they created a subconscious barrier. Your brain now associates extreme success with being a bad person. Consequently, whenever an opportunity for massive wealth presents itself, your internal thermostat kicks in and shuts it down. You sabotage yourself because you don't want to betray your identity as a good, honest person. You have been programmed to reject the very thing you claim to want. This is why you see people who win the lottery or come into a sudden windfall lose it all within a few years. Their internal narrative cannot coexist with the reality of having money. So they subconsciously find ways to get rid of it until they are back at their comfortable level of struggle. The most dangerous lie of all, however, is the idea that a good education is the ultimate path to security. This was true in 1950, but in the modern era, education without capital just creates highly specialized laborers. You might be a doctor, a lawyer, or a high-level engineer, but if you are still selling your time for a paycheck, you are still trapped in the labor paradigm. You are a gold-collar worker, but you are still a worker. You have simply increased the price of your time, but you haven't escaped the fundamental constraint of having only 24 hours in a day. The elite understand something that the educated middle class does not. Wealth is not earned, it is collected. It is the result of owning systems that work independently of your physical presence. To understand how the world really works, we have to look at history, specifically at families like the Rothschilds. They didn't become the wealthiest family in Europe by working harder than everyone else in the sense of manual labor. They understood that money is simply a physical representation of information. Whoever possesses the fastest, most accurate information will always end up with the money. The Rothschilds built a private courier network across Europe that outperformed every government-run postal system. During the Battle of Waterloo, they knew the outcome before the British government did. While the public was panicking and selling their assets because they feared a Napoleon victory, Nathan Rothschild was buying everything in sight. He used information asymmetry to transform a moment of global chaos into a generational fortune. He wasn't playing the same game as the public. He was playing a game of information and proximity to power. This brings us to the most critical mental shift you must make. If you ever want to be wealthy, you must stop seeing money as a payment for time and start seeing it as a return on value and leverage. When you think in terms of time, you are limited by your own biology. When you think in terms of value creation, There is no ceiling. A book can be sold 1 billion times, a software program can run on 1 million servers, a business can operate in 10 time zones while you are on vacation. But making this shift is terrifying for most people because the labor mindset offers the illusion of predictability. You know that if you show up for 40 hours, you get a specific check. The creator mindset is unpredictable. You might build something for a year and get nothing. Or you might build something for a month that pays you for the rest of your life. Most people choose the slow, guaranteed crawl of the laborer over the high leverage jump of the creator because they are biologically wired for safety, not for wealth. Our biology is actually our greatest enemy in the quest for wealth. We are the descendants of people who survived by being extremely sensitive to loss. In the ancestral environment, losing your food supply meant death, while finding extra food was merely a luxury. Therefore, we evolved what psychologists call loss aversion. We feel the pain of a loss twice as strongly as we feel the joy of a gain. If someone offers you a bet where you have a 50% chance of winning $1,000 and a 50% chance of losing $500, your rational brain knows the expected value is positive. You should take that bet every time. But most people's hearts will race, and they will turn it down because the thought of losing that $500 is physically painful. This survival instinct is what keeps people in poverty. To build wealth, you must take risks, but your brain is screaming at you to protect what little you have. This creates a tragic paradox. Being broke makes you risk averse, and being risk averse ensures that you stay broke. The very psychology that helped your ancestors survive the savannah is the same psychology that prevents you from escaping the cubicle. We also have to talk about the reference point trap. As humans, we don't evaluate our success in a vacuum. We evaluate it relative to the people around us. If everyone in your social circle earns $50,000 a year and you make $70,000, you feel like a king. You relax. You lose your edge because your brain tells you that you are winning. But if you were to move into a circle where everyone was earning $5 million a year, that $70,000 would feel like a life-threatening emergency. Your absolute income hasn't changed, but your reference point has. This is why wealthy people are so obsessed with their environment. It's not about being snobs, it's about social engineering. They know that if they surround themselves with people who think on a massive scale, their own internal normal will rise. If you want to change your life, you have to change your floor. You have to put yourself in rooms where your current success looks like a failure. That is the only way to shock your ambition back into growth. Now, let's look at the systemic forces that are actively designed to extract wealth from you while you aren't looking. Take the insurance industry, for example. It is one of the most brilliant psychological games ever played. It is a business model built entirely on the monetization of fear. The company collects your premiums, invests that money to make a profit for themselves, and then hires teams of people whose sole job is to find technicalities to avoid paying you back when you actually need it. You are forced by law or by fear to participate in a system where the provider is financially incentivized to deny you service. Every dollar they pay in a claim is a dollar lost in profit. It is a massive transfer of wealth from the fearful masses to the calculating elite. But the most sophisticated tool of wealth extraction isn't insurance. It's the monetary system itself. We need to talk about what inflation actually is. It isn't just prices going up. It is the intentional debasement of the currency you work so hard to earn. When the government prints or digitally creates trillions of new dollars, they are effectively diluting the value of every dollar currently in existence. This is a silent tax that requires no legislation and no public vote. If you have $10,000 in a savings account and the government increases the money supply, your $10,000 doesn't disappear from your account, but its ability to buy food, fuel, and housing is slashed. You have been robbed without a thief ever touching your wallet. The truly dark part of this is the Cantillon effect. When new money is created, it doesn't enter the economy evenly. It goes first to the big banks, the major corporations, and the politically connected. These entities get to spend the new money at yesterday's prices before inflation has kicked in. By the time that money filters down to you in the form of wages, prices have already skyrocketed. The wealthy get the benefit of the new money, while the poor and middle class pay the price of the resulting inflation. The system is designed to reward debtors, like the government and large corporations who pay back their loans with devalued currency, and punish savers who are trying to build security. If you are following the good advice to save your money in a bank account, you are the primary victim of this game. Your wealth is being quietly transferred to the people who understand how to use debt and assets to their advantage. This leads us to the reality of power and how it is maintained. We are told we live in a meritocracy, but in truth, we live in a world of captured systems. Think about the massive robber baron fortunes of the past, like Rockefeller's Standard Oil. Rockefeller didn't win through the free market alone. He won through predatory pricing and secret deals with railroads to crush his competition. He rigged the infrastructure of the country so that no one else could compete, regardless of how hard they worked or how good their product was. Today, that same spirit lives on through lobbying and legal corruption. Pharmaceutical companies, for example, write the very laws that are supposed to regulate them. They ensure that the government cannot negotiate drug prices and that cheaper competitors are blocked from the market. They invest in politicians, and in return, they receive a guaranteed stream of wealth extracted from the sick and the elderly. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It is simply how the business of power works. Wealthy families also maintain their position through elite networks that the average person will never see. There are private organizations, family dynasties, and secret clubs where the real decisions are made. It isn't necessarily a smoke-filled room of villains. It is simply a group of people with aligned interests who went to the same schools, belong to the same country clubs, and have each other's phone numbers. When a deal needs to be made, it happens over a lunch that you aren't invited to. This is why your last name or your network matters more than your GPA. Information and opportunities are shared within these circles long before they ever reach the public. By the time you read about an opportunity in the news, the elite have already extracted the maximum value and are looking for someone to sell it to. To break free from a game that is rigged against you, the first step is to realize that almost everything you were taught about money was designed to make you a better cog rather than a better architect. You have to stop playing by the fake rules of the masses and start playing by the real rules of the elite. These real rules are built on leverage. Leverage is the ability to do more with less. It comes in 4 forms: labor, capital, code, and media. Labor is the oldest form, having people work for you. Capital is the second, having your money work for you. But the most powerful forms for the modern individual are code and media. These allow you to create products and content that work for you 24 hours a day with zero marginal cost of reproduction. Unlike labor or capital, you don't need anyone's permission to use them. The second real rule is to stop being a consumer of the system and start being a controller of it. The poor and middle class are the primary consumers. They buy the products, they pay the interest, they pay the taxes, and they follow the trends. The wealthy provide the products, collect the interest, minimize the taxes, and set the trends. You have to shift your identity. Instead of asking, what can I buy? You must start asking, what can I build? Instead of asking, how can I save? You must ask, how can I invest? The third real rule is to embrace the legal gray area. This doesn't mean breaking the law. It means operating where the regulators haven't caught up yet. Every major technological revolution, from the railroads to the internet to cryptocurrency, started in a gray area. By the time a sector is fully regulated and safe, the massive wealth has already been made. If you wait for the government to tell you that something is okay, you have already missed the boat. The wealthy move fast and break things. They ask for forgiveness, not permission. Finally, you must master your own psychology. You have to audit your internal narrative and delete the poverty programs your parents and your teachers installed in you. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable for a long period of time. You have to be okay with the fact that people will judge you, call you greedy, or tell you that you're changing. Of course you're changing. You're trying to evolve out of a system of modern serfdom. The path to wealth is not a mystery, it is a choice. But it is a choice that requires you to reject the comfort of the crowd. It requires you to see the world as it is, a complex system of power, information, and leverage, rather than how we are told it is in school. You can continue to be the good student who works hard, follows the rules, and wonders why they are always struggling, or you can decide to become a student of the real game. Imagine if you could look at every dollar not as a piece of paper to be spent, but as a soldier to be deployed. Most people treat their money like guests at a party. It arrives, stays for a little while, and then leaves. The wealthy treat their money like employees. Every dollar has a job to do. If a dollar isn't earning more dollars, it is a wasted resource. This mindset shift alone can change your entire financial trajectory. It forces you to look at your spending through the lens of opportunity cost. When you buy a $1,000 phone, you aren't just spending $1,000, you are spending the $10,000 that those $1,000 could have become over the next decade if they were invested. We also have to address the myth of the safe job. In the current economy, a single source of income is the most dangerous thing you can have. It is a single point of failure. If your employer decides to downsize or if your industry is disrupted by AI, you go from 100% income to 0% overnight. The wealthy understand that true safety comes from diversification, not just of stocks, but of income streams. They have rental income, dividend income, business income, and royalty income. If one stream dries up, the others keep the ship afloat. The middle class is taught to specialize in one skill and sell it to one buyer. The wealthy are taught to acquire multiple assets that serve multiple buyers. The system also uses debt as a weapon against the uneducated. You are taught that debt is a way to get things you can't afford today. This is consumer debt, and it is the fastest way to stay poor. But the wealthy use debt as a tool to acquire assets. They use other people's money to buy things that pay them back. This is the difference between a car loan and a mortgage on a rental property. One drains your bank account, the other fills it. The math of the world is simple. If the interest you pay is lower than the return you earn, debt makes you richer. If the interest you pay is on something that loses value, debt makes you a slave. Furthermore, we must confront the idea of hard work. Hard work is a prerequisite, but it is not the cause of wealth. There are people working 3 jobs who will never be rich, and there are people who spend their days playing golf who are worth hundreds of millions. The difference is the scale of the problems they solve. If you solve a problem for one person, you get paid once. If you solve a problem for 1 million people, you get paid 1 million times. To get rich, you must stop focusing on the hours you put in and start focusing on the value you put out. You must move from the linear world of labor to the exponential world of systems. The invisible prison is real, but the doors are not locked. The only thing keeping you inside is the belief that the rules you were taught are for your benefit. They aren't. They are for the benefit of the people who own the prison. The moment you stop seeking approval from the system, you become dangerous to it. You become an individual who can think for themselves, act in their own interest, and build their own future. Success in the mental game of money requires a level of ruthlessness with your own habits. You have to kill the version of yourself that wants to fit in. You have to kill the version of yourself that seeks comfort over growth. You have to be willing to stand alone until you find a new tribe of people who are playing the game at a higher level. This is the price of admission. Most people aren't willing to pay it. They would rather complain about the system than learn how to beat it. But for those who are willing, the rewards are infinite. The real mental game is realizing that you are the only one who can save you. The government isn't going to save you. They are the ones devaluing your currency. Your employer isn't going to save you. They are the ones profiting from your labor. Your education won't save you. It only taught you how to follow instructions. True freedom comes from taking total responsibility for your financial outcome and realizing that if the game is rigged, the only logical move is to learn how to rig it in your favor. It's time to stop being a player in someone else's game and start being the one who owns the board. Think about the way you spend your time. Most people trade their time for money, and then they trade their money for things that steal more of their time. They buy big houses that require hours of maintenance, cars that require hours of cleaning and repair, and gadgets that steal hours of their attention. The wealthy do the opposite. They use their money to buy back their time. They hire people to do the tasks they don't want to do so they can focus on the high-value activities that create more wealth. They understand that time is the only truly non-renewable resource. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. In the end, becoming rich is less about what you do and more about who you become. You have to develop a mind that can see opportunities where others see obstacles. You have to develop a stomach that can handle volatility without panicking. You have to develop a heart that is not swayed by the opinions of the masses. This internal transformation is what truly separates the rich from the poor. The money in the bank account is just a scoreboard that reflects the growth of the individual. If you are waiting for a sign, this is it. The world is changing faster than ever, and the old rules are being rewritten in real time. You can either be a victim of that change, or you can be an architect of it. You can stay in the world of paychecks and limitations, or you can step into the world of leverage and freedom. The divide is there, and the map you were given is wrong. It's time to draw your own. It's time to play the real game. It's time to take back your life. Every day you wake up and follow the same routine is a day you are reinforcing your own prison walls. The system relies on your consistency. It relies on you showing up at the same time, doing the same task, and spending your money in the same predictable ways. When you break the routine, you break the spell. When you start questioning the purpose of every task and every purchase, you start to see the gaps in the system. Those gaps are where the opportunities lie. The wealthy don't look for jobs, they look for problems to solve. They know that every problem is a business opportunity in disguise. The bigger the problem, the bigger the payday. While the middle class complains about the high cost of living, the wealthy are looking for ways to provide the goods and services that people need to survive that high cost. They are always positioned on the receiving end of the transaction. You must learn to position yourself there as well. Consider the concept of social capital. The poor and middle class use their social capital to seek status. They buy the right clothes and the right cars to impress people who don't even like them. The wealthy use their social capital to build networks of influence. They know that a single introduction can be worth more than a decade of hard labor. They invest in relationships that can open doors, provide inside information, and offer protection. They understand that wealth is a team sport, while poverty is a solo struggle. The transition from a laborer's mindset to a wealth builder's mindset is often painful. It involves a death of the old self. You will lose friends. You will face criticism from your family. You will have moments of deep self-doubt where you wonder if the safe path wouldn't have been easier. But easier is not better. Easier is how you end up at 65. Looking back at a life spent building someone else's dreams while your own withered on the vine. You have the tools. You have the access to information that previous generations could only dream of. You have the ability to reach a global audience with a few clicks. The only thing you are missing is the permission to use them, and that permission must come from you. You have to decide that you are no longer willing to be a pawn in someone else's game. You have to decide that you are going to be the king of your own destiny. The system will try to pull you back. It will offer you promotions that are just bigger cages. It will offer you credit that is just a longer chain. It will tell you that you are being unrealistic or greedy. Ignore it. The people who tell you that you can't do it are usually the ones who are terrified that you will, because your success will be a mirror that reflects their own lack of courage. Build your leverage, control your narrative, audit your environment, master your psychology. This is the blueprint. It isn't easy, but it is simple. The path is right there in front of you, hidden in plain sight behind the lies you were told as a child. Step across the divide. The other side is waiting for you. To really grasp the magnitude of the mental shift required, we need to look at how the concept of work has been weaponized. We are taught that hard work is a virtue in itself. We celebrate the person who works 14-hour days as if they are a hero. But if that person is just running in a hamster wheel, they aren't a hero, they are a victim. The wealthy don't celebrate hard work, they celebrate effective work. They look for the 20% of actions that produce 80% of the results. They are obsessed with efficiency. If a machine can do it, let the machine do it. If an assistant can do it, let the assistant do it. Their job is to stay in the high-level strategic zone where the real money is made. You must learn to value your brain more than your back. The world will always pay you more for what you think than for what you do. This is why the highest paid people in any industry are the ones who make the decisions, not the ones who execute them. To move up the food chain, you have to stop focusing on your technical skills and start focusing on your decision-making skills. You have to learn how to think critically, how to analyze markets, and how to understand human psychology. These are the meta skills that allow you to navigate any economy, regardless of what is happening in the news. We should also talk about the trap of the middle class. The middle class is often the most resistant to these ideas because they have just enough to be comfortable, but not enough to be free. They have the nice house, the 2 cars, and the annual vacation. They feel like they've made it, but because they are so dependent on their salary to maintain that lifestyle, they are the most fragile. They are one layoff away from disaster. The comfort of the middle class is a sedative that keeps them from striving for the freedom of the wealthy. They are afraid to risk their $100,000 salary for the chance at $10 million, so they stay stuck in the middle forever. You must be willing to sacrifice your comfort if you ever want to achieve your potential. The world is not a fair place and never will be. There will always be people who are born with more than you, and there will always be people who have better connections than you. Complaining about this is a waste of energy. The only thing that matters is how you play the hand you were dealt. The wealthy don't complain about the rules. They learn the rules so well that they know how to use them to their advantage. They see the unfairness of the world as a set of variables to be managed, not a reason to quit. Your money narrative is the story you tell yourself every day about what you deserve. If you believe you only deserve a stable life, that is exactly what you will get. If you believe you are capable of building a global empire, your brain will start looking for the steps to make that happen. Your subconscious mind is a powerful engine that will work toward whatever goal you set for it. If you set a low goal, it will work just as hard to keep you there as it would to take you to the top. Raise your sights. Demand more of yourself. Reject the average life that society has planned for you. The mental game of money is ultimately about power, not power over others, but power over yourself. Power over your fears, power over your impulses, and power over your future. When you control your finances, you control your time. When you control your time, you control your life. This is the ultimate goal. The yachts and the mansions are just the toys that come along with the journey. The real prize is the ability to wake up every morning and decide exactly what you want to do with your day. In the 21st century, the barrier to entry for wealth has never been lower, but the barrier to focus has never been higher. We live in an attention economy where every app on your phone is designed by thousands of engineers to keep you scrolling and consuming. This is the new form of social control. While you are distracted by the latest outrage or the newest viral trend, the wealth of the world is being consolidated by those who remain focused. Your attention is your most valuable asset. If you give it away for free to social media companies, you are making them rich while staying poor yourself. Reclaim your focus. Use your screen time to learn, to build, and to connect with people who can help you grow. The system wants you to be a passive observer of life. It wants you to watch the news, watch the movies, and watch the influencers. It wants you to be a spectator. The wealthy are the players. They are the ones on the field, taking the hits and making the plays. It is much safer to stay in the stands and criticize the players, but there are no trophies for spectators. Get on the field. Be willing to look stupid. Be willing to fail. The experience you gain from one failed business is worth more than a decade of safe employment. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is a myth. There will always be an excuse to wait. The economy is bad. The kids are young. The job is busy. The people who get ahead are the ones who start before they are ready. They learn by doing. They build the plane while it's in the air. If you wait until all the lights are green before you leave the house, you'll never get out of the driveway. Start today. Start with whatever you have, wherever you are. The invisible prison is only a prison if you stay inside. The moment you walk out the door, it becomes just another building. The rules are only rules if you agree to follow them. The moment you decide to live by your own standards, The old world loses its power over you. You are the architect. You are the creator. You are the master of your financial destiny. Remember that wealth is a long game. It is built through the power of compounding, not just of money, but of knowledge, relationships, and habits. Small actions taken consistently over a long period produce massive results. Don't look for the overnight success. Look for the inevitable success that comes from years of disciplined growth. The middle class looks for the quick win. The wealthy look for the long-term advantage. The final shift is from wanting to be rich to deciding to be rich. Wanting is passive. It's a wish that requires no action. Deciding is active. It's a commitment that changes everything. When you decide, you stop looking for excuses and start looking for ways. You stop asking if and start asking how. This is the moment your new life begins. The divide is real, but it is not permanent. You can cross it. You can learn the game. You can build the leverage. You can achieve the freedom. It all starts with the realization that the life you were told to live is a lie, and the life you want is yours for the taking. The only question left is, are you ready to stop playing by their rules and start playing by yours? As we wrap this up, think about the legacy you want to leave. Do you want to pass down a narrative of struggle and making do, or do you want to pass down a legacy of abundance and power? The choices you make today will echo through the generations of your family. You have the opportunity to be the one who changes the trajectory of your lineage forever. You can be the one who broke the cycle. You can be the one who opened the door for everyone who comes after you. The system is designed to be a closed loop, where the wealth stays at the top and the labor stays at the bottom. But every closed loop has a point of failure. In our system, that point of failure is an educated, focused, and audacious individual. When you become that person, the loop breaks. You are no longer a resource to be managed. You are a force to be reckoned with. Take the first step. Audit your bank statement. Audit your calendar. Audit your friendships. Identify the leaks where your time and money are escaping into the system. Plug the leaks. Redirect those resources into your own education and your own assets. Start small, but think big. The road is long, but the destination is worth every bit of the struggle. This is the end of the old map. From here on out, you are the one holding the pen. The world is yours to design. The wealth is yours to claim. The game is on, and for the first time in your life, you actually know the rules. Go out there and play to win. The transition from a laborer to a creator is the most significant evolution a human can undergo in the modern world. It is a shift from being a reactive creature to a proactive one. A laborer reacts to the needs of their boss, the demands of their bills, and the pressures of society. A creator proactively decides what value they will bring into the world and how they will be compensated for it. This autonomy is the ultimate luxury. It is what allows you to live with a sense of purpose and dignity that a paycheck can never provide. Finally, understand that true wealth is not just about the money in your bank account. It is about the person you had to become to get it. It is about the discipline you developed, the knowledge you acquired, and the fears you conquered. Even if someone took all your money away tomorrow, if you have the mindset of a wealth builder, you would be rich again in no time because you still have the skills and the perspective. The system can take your assets, but it can't take your mind. Once you see the game, you can never unsee it. You are free. The divide is shrinking as you read this. Every new insight is a bridge across the gap. Every decision to act is a step toward the other side. Don't look back. The world you left behind is a world of shadows and illusions. The world ahead is a world of clarity and power. Welcome to the real game. Welcome to your new life. Consider the concept of infinite scale. In the old world, if you wanted to reach more people, you had to hire more workers, build more factories, and buy more advertisements. In the new world, if you create something digital, it can be shared with 1 billion people instantly. This is why a 20-year-old in their bedroom can now out-earn a traditional CEO with 10,000 employees. We are living in a period of unprecedented leverage. If you aren't using it, you are choosing to stay in the 19th century. The middle class is obsessed with safety, but they are actually the most vulnerable people in the economy. They have just enough to lose, but not enough to fight back. They are the ones who pay the most in taxes. They are the ones whose savings are most affected by inflation, and they are the ones whose jobs are most likely to be automated. True safety is not found in a stable job. It is found in having the skills and the assets to be your own economy. When you are the owner of the system, you are the one who decides who gets paid and how much. Don't be afraid of the legal gray area. This is where the future is being built. The people who built the first cars were breaking the rules of the horse-drawn carriage industry. The people who built the first airplanes were breaking the rules of physics. The people who built the first internet companies were breaking the rules of the traditional media and retail industries. If you only operate in the fully sanctioned areas of the economy, you are competing with everyone else for the leftovers. To find the real wealth, you have to go where the rules are still being written. The path to wealth is a psychological marathon. It will test your resolve, your patience, and your integrity. There will be times when you want to quit and go back to the safety of the crowd. When those times come, remember why you started. Remember the feeling of being trapped in a system that didn't value you. Remember the desire for freedom that led you to this path in the first place. The struggle is the process of the old you dying so the new you can be born. Embrace the pain. It is the proof that you are growing. The world is full of talkers, people who say they want to be rich but never do anything about it. They read the books, they watch the videos, and then they go back to their comfortable routines. Don't be a talker, be a doer. Take the knowledge you have gained today and apply it to your life immediately. Make a change, no matter how small. Buy an asset, start a project, call someone who can help you. The difference between success and failure is simply the willingness to take action. The game of money is a game of leverage and information. The more leverage you have, the more you can do. The more information you have, the better your decisions will be. Spend your time and money acquiring these two things. Everything else is a distraction. The latest gadgets, the newest fashion, the popular entertainment, these are all designed to keep you from building your own empire. They are the bread and circuses of the modern world. Ignore them. Stay focused on your goal. In the end, you are the only one who can define your success. For some, it is billions of dollars and global influence. For others, it is the freedom to spend every day with their family and pursue their hobbies. Whatever your goal is, the path is the same. You must break free from the worker mindset and embrace the owner mindset. You must stop playing by the rules of the poor and start playing by the rules of the rich. You must cross the divide. The invisible prison is only as strong as your belief in it. The moment you decide it doesn't exist, you are free. The world is yours. The opportunities are endless. The wealth is waiting. All you have to do is take it. Would you like me to help you create a specific breakdown of how to acquire one of the 4 types of leverage, such as a plan to start building capital or media assets?